Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. Now, I don't read entire articles very often, but today I was sent one by this guy, XRP Tone Like the Sound, at Like Tone. Today he sent me an article, and I'm going to read you the whole thing because I believe that this article captures the big picture better than anything I've read in a while. And so here it goes. This article is from Tron Weekly Journal. Ripple has serious connections with central banks and even IMF. Here is how. The IMF head, Mrs. Lagarde, didn't come out and spoke overtly about Ripple XRP adoption until date, but she espoused a series of ideas in which XRP could fit perfectly as the system's working currency. Christine Lagarde heads the IMF. That position gives her a privileged view on how the world's new financial system will develop. Some significant changes are coming, and the IMF, alongside the central banks, will play an even more prominent role in the future. It's going to be global banks for a global world. Does that imply a global currency, and does Ripple's XRP fit there? In this article, we will review briefly some ideas posited by Ms. Lagarde and John Maynard Keynes and try to figure out how they relate to the cryptoverse in general, and with Ripple in particular. Bretton Woods at 75. We start with the conference event that celebrated the IMF's 75th birthday. In this occasion, Ms. Lagarde joined a panel that discussed rethinking cross-border cooperation. You can watch the full discussion if you like below this paragraph. We'll embed the video for you. We'll just stick to the main idea, which is quite simple. The world has remained too dependent on the U.S. dollar as the world's primary currency, and that's not good in terms of equality among financial institutions. John Maynard Keynes, the legendary economist, proposed an international currency called Bancor. He did this as Bretton Woods was created. It was meant to be the legal tender for global operations, thus preventing dominance by any single national currency. His idea was declined in favor of the USD, which of course did become the most crucial currency in the world. The supranational currency was always part of the initial Keynes plan, which was the ideological cornerstone from which both the World Bank and the IMF were born. The project was adopted almost in full except for the neutral currency. The exciting thing is that now we can see documents by both IMF and the World Bank in which Ripple's XRP is referred to as a supranational currency, just as Keynes envisioned 75 years ago. In the same documents, Bitcoin is called a cryptocurrency. This is not a coincidence. Ripple is passionately opposed on calling XRP the cryptocurrency, which is why it names it a crypto asset or digital asset. Could this be the reason why? The original Keynes plan. Digging a little deeper on Keynes' plan, we can find this quotation. A radical solution to create a new international organization, an international central bank, to which would be handed over the foreign exchange reserves of all countries. This is Keynes' Triffin plan on international liquidity. The major obstacle to its implementation would be the reluctance of countries to give up their sovereignty over reserves, but it can be considered as a proposal to set the ball rolling for future negotiations. This is a radical idea indeed, and it would inevitably face stiff opposition from most of the world's governments and central banks because they would have to give up their international reserves, thus losing one of the handles they have to stir domestic economic development and monetary policy. The central idea is still built around an international, non-national currency, and XRP could just fit the bill. It already does in most ways. The IMF, acting together with the World's Bank as a central bank for central banks, could use XRP as a settlement means between the banks of the world while keeping balance along with bilateral relationships. Ms. Lagarde didn't come out and spoke overtly about XRP adoption, but she espoused a series of ideas in which XRP could fit perfectly as the system's working currency. Besides that, Ripple is already working alongside 40 or 50 of the world's central banks, so it's already developed a collaborative network that would allow it to take center stage. If the old Keynes plan should become an option again for the IMF. The IMF's leader has singled out Ripple in the past, calling it a disruptor, for instance, above other digital assets, which shows that she's very well about Ripple, knows very well, I guess, its technologies and its currency. So it would only make sense for the IMF to take advantage of Ripple XRP already developed networks, technology, and reliability to bring forward the next world's financial system. And the IMF's head seems to be keenly aware of this. Now, folks, that article hits you right between the eyes because it makes a lot of things make sense that we've been seeing. So now I wanted to show you this from T Academy at Trade Different at Kia Crypto. Sent me this video. Now, I've shown this on this channel before. This is Crypto News and Investigative Reports at RobTechP. Christine Lagarde of the IMF says Ripple and Circle are the best choice for banks to build upon. Both Ripple and Circle are a part of the IMF and high-level advisory group. She names Ripple by name in this video, folks. And so, yes, this whole idea of XRP being some type, not necessarily reserve currency, but some type of bridge asset for the world's central banks and banks, it makes a lot of sense. It would make Brad Garlinghouse being in all these high-level meetings and being able to access all of these people, it would make all of that make sense. I've said since I began this channel, I've always said Ripple is a lot bigger than I think it's bigger than we even believe, than we even think. I really do. Always have thought that. Okay. Next, I wanted to show you this. Ripple tweeted this, I believe, yesterday. Ripple's general counsel, and his name is Stuart Alderati, I believe. I need to follow him. Discuss his move from legacy financial services, the global state of regulation, and Ripple's commitment to educating regulators on the space. Well, this is an article which is a Q&A for him. It's on law.com. You can go to Ripple's feed and click to that link. I'm not going to go through the article itself. It's just kind of regulatory, kind of boring in my opinion. But I did want to show you his bio on Ripple's website. He is general counsel at Ripple. He brings more than 30 years of legal experience to the role with expertise in financial services and regulatory affairs. And then I just want to show he was at the CIT group, HSBC, and he was also, this is interesting, he was also managing counsel at American Express, where he served on the leadership team of the president and CEO of American Express consumer card business. That's a pretty big deal, folks. And once again, you find Ripple under another financial rock. Next, from Michael at VAL5Links. This is important to understand, folks. Just like we talked about yesterday, Binance did the same thing. Bittrex has revealed its market availability changes for U.S. customer. The change in service, which will be effective from June 28th, this is coming up, folks, we'll see over 40 cryptocurrencies transition to Bittrex International. You will not be able to go to Bittrex.com anymore, I guess, and trade in these 40. And here's the article, and it shows you the 40 that they're referencing. These will no longer be on Bittrex. All these digital assets that are listed here. If you're a U.S. citizen, it says this change does not affect the availability of these markets on Bittrex International for non-U.S. customers. Okay, I've got a new guy who is sending me a lot of information. This is a guy from India. Well, no, actually it says he's in Florida, USA, but I think that he must be from India because he's shown me a lot of things that people from India are saying, or maybe he has relatives there or something. At Chenu Patel 29, and he sent me 3 things. This one, which is from Rhythm Trader, one of my favorite Twitter feeds lately. In 2017, Bitcoin exceeded our wildest expectations. It did these things in these number of days: 8,000 to 10,000 in 11 days, 10,000 to 12 in 7 days, 12 to 14 in 1 day, 14 to 16 in 1 day, 16 to 18 in 8 days. It happens fast, and he says, now consider, this time the largest retailers, excuse me, the largest retailers, custodians, firms, funds, and media are involved. They're about to pump this thing more than we've ever seen them pump. You watch. Okay, so the next thing that was sent to me by him was this, from @Desi Crypto Hodler. Japan will share its solution for crypto regulation at the G20 summit on June 28th to 29th. Guidebooks will be given to all finance ministers, including India's. And then she says this to, let's see who this is. This is the Minister of Finance, I guess, for India. Let's learn from the crypto superpower and make most of the golden opportunity. So this is an Indian influencer who is trying to influence the India Prime Minister to be pro digital assets. The important thing here is Japan is working out their regulation, and they're going to give a handbook to all these other countries. And guess who is the biggest fan of Ripple and XRP? Japan. Japan is one of the biggest fan bases for XRP in the world. And SBI Holdings, which is in Japan, owns 10.5% of Ripple. Good things. Next, he also sent me this. This is from Doug Borden. Facebook's Libra is going to teach billions of people that a private, non-government money can exist. That is a great eye-opening revelation that everyone needs to accept on the way to understanding Bitcoin. And I'll say this another way. Facebook's Libra, yes, it's going to teach billions of people that a private, non-government, but what more specifically it's going to do is it's going to teach billions of your friends and family who have been making fun of you about buying these things and thought you were crazy. It's going to teach those billions that you were right all along. That's what it's about to teach them. So get excited, get very excited. Next, from X Lighting the Way, @X Lighting the Way. This was apparently they did a crypto compare, researched this, and they launched an exchange benchmarking report. And out of the report, only 6 exchanges in the world managed to get an AA grade Coinbase Poloniex Bitstamp, Bitflyer, Liquid, and ItBit. With more regulations to come in the next few months, do not assume your assets are safe on some of the more popular exchanges. Exactly. And next, from C3 Nick. Every time we have a lot of green, which like we have today, C3 Nick likes to bring us down to earth and make sure that we're looking out for the ones that are obvious pumps, pump and dump type things. When you see some random token, I've never even heard of Poet, but that's the symbol, I guess. But he says if you want to see what a really disgusting pump and dump looks like, and he shows you one where this thing's pumped up 39%, and it usually happens with a digital asset that you've never even heard of and doesn't have a lot going on news-wise with it, and it pumps up like that. He says keeping assets off exchanges is actually very inconvenient in these cases, especially since Ethereum is so slow. To prevent FOMO in the future, print that chart and pin it to your wall. And then finally, I want to show you the market today. I'm refreshing this. Now, if you'll notice up here, over the last week, as I recall, we got as low as $249 billion, I believe, in the market. It had been up as high as $286 billion over the course of the last 2 months. And now we're right back up to $278 billion as of right now. And you can see the 24-hour green. XRP's up 4.36%. 7 days haven't been so good, but 24-hour. But then if you look at the return rates over the last 7 days, 30 days, and 1 quarter, things look pretty good. 30 days for XRP is not so good. But we're at 41 cents as of today, and that is good. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that we're seeing a lot of green today. Thank you for listening.